Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here to join us for Cruise Convos. So what is Cruise Convos? Cruise Convos is going to be a series of conversations, but very important, it's going to be casual conversations with cruise industry leaders across the globe. As the founder of Lemoneight, I want to welcome you to this experience. I really hope you enjoy and also have a little bit of fun. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, you're the zest. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to have you here. We're going to be talking to 4 amazing people, and we're going to start by introducing everyone. My name's Claudine. I'm going to be your host. I'm so excited, obviously. Woo! And we have Christine Majenjic with us, and we have Alex Zeits, we have Mario Alberto, and Arnalso Zanonato. So let's go around and introduce everyone. Christine, you want to start?
Sure. First, my name is Christine Majenjic. Everyone butchers it, so just getting it out there, Majenjic. I am with Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings, and I take care of all 3 brands of Oceania Cruises, Regent 7 Seas Cruises, and as well Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings. And we take care of all of the shore excursions, hotel programs, land programs, overland programs, events, transfers, turnarounds for all 3 brands on a global scale. So we're a little bit busy. That's me.
Great, thanks for sharing. Everybody repeat after me. Majenjic.
Majenjic.
Majenjic. It's a learning experience. Everybody get it right. Okay, Arnaldo.
Hi, everybody. Yes. Hi, everybody. My name is Arnalso Zanonato. I go by Arnie. I am with Silver Sea Cruises, one of the brands part of the Royal Caribbean Group. Have about 20 years experience in the cruise industry, spend a lot of time at Disney Cruise Line in my previous life with some of my colleagues that are here sharing this conversation today. And at Silver Sea, right now, I oversee all the turnaround operations. So all of our embarkation, debarkation, pre and post land programs, hotels and transfers, as well as our events for our super special voyages like the World Cruise, or the World Cruises, I should say, and the Grand Voyages. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
How exciting. Thanks, Arnie. Alex, you're next.
Perfect. My name is Alex Zeits. I'm with Virgin Voyages, and I lead the customer experience as well as our, as we call them, sailors, right? As well as our employer, as we call everyone, crew experience. So I'm part of those teams. What that means in our setup at Virgin Voyages is we are kind of the connection between the whole brand to make sure that the journey that goes through the whole experience is similar, so that our sailors and our customers or our crew kind of know what to expect and have this amazing journey. So like the others, that's everything on land, from terminal development, building out our new terminal here in Port Miami, to Beach Club in Bimini, lots of different things, to also making sure we recruit and find the best crew in the world.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Mario, you're next.
Hello, very good day, and I'm very happy to see all of you and be here with you. My name is Mario Alberto. I'm the Corporate Fleet Financial Officer for Ponant Cruises and Paul Gauguin Cruises. And I'm also the founder of Mac Synergy, which is a consultancy company that we do for the hospitality services in Europe and Israel.
Wow, thank you so much, Mario. Thanks for sharing. And I'm so glad to have you all here. Well, let's jump in. The first question. We ready? Yes. All right, let's do this. Tell me, can you each share a story, any kind of memory that you have that, you know, that you had a really good time when you were a child that involved traveling, your first memory that had to do with travel? Let's go. We're going to go Arnie, Christine, Alex, Mario. Let's go. Arnie.
All right. So some of my fondest memories as a child traveling were in the car. We lived in the south of Brazil. I grew up in the south of Brazil, and my grandma lived somewhere in the central part of Brazil. So that was about a 2.5-day road trip that we did at least once a year. And my dad was very much one of those guys that if you see it on the side of the road, we stop it or we buy it. So it really took us 2.5 days to get there, but we did every roadside attraction and bought just about everything that was for sale on the side of the road. Which fast forward to today's world, where now I work for Silver Sea, and specifically on our expedition fleet, some of the experiences that I remember with my dad, and one in particular is those roadside caves and roadside grottos, so to speak. So I remember us going, you know, with water all the way up to your knees under big boulders to get under those big open areas with the stalactites and stalagmites. And I remember very clearly my dad explaining the differences between of those. So it's really, really fun. And I really believe that some of those experiences when I was a child really shaped who I was and my passion for travel and exploration and experiences. So yeah, very fun memories of many road trips.
That's so much fun. Thanks for sharing, Arnie. Christine, do you want to share yours with us?
Sure. I don't know if mine is, let's say, one of the most memorable, but it did teach me a lesson. And I got that lesson taught back to the person later on in life, but never mind. I grew up in the northeast of England, and the very first time we went abroad was on a family vacation, and we went to Antibes in the south of France. And my dad always used to, whenever we went on a foreign trip, he would always teach us a few words in that language to be respectful to the country that we're visiting. So I remember we were sat in this cafe one time, we were there quite a lot. And I asked my dad, I said, I want a chocolate bar. Can I get one? He was like, I'm going to give you the money to get the chocolate bar, but you've got to ask how much is it in French. So 45 minutes later, me sat there going, combien un chocolat s'il vous plaît, combien un chocolat s'il vous plaît, combien un chocolat s'il vous plaît. He gave me the money. I go up to the counter where the chocolate was, and I had said I was 9 years old. Combien un chocolat s'il vous plaît? And the gentleman behind was like, huh? I was like, combien un chocolat s'il vous plaît? And the gentleman behind turned around and said, sorry, love, can you speak English? And I turned around and my dad is like on the floor laughing. But it did teach me that everywhere I went, I needed to speak the language or say something in that language. However, many, many years later, in my 20s, I lived in Greece and I happened to learn the language. So then when my father came to visit, he would ask me, how do I say this? How do I say that? I cannot say it because it's a little bit X-rated what I taught him, but I did get payback. That's my memory.
That is good. Epic. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Christine. So much
You're
fun.
welcome.
Alex, share with us.
So for me, I think my childhood memory that kind of, got that stir in me for travel came from the fact that I come from, on my dad's side, some strong ladies, right? My grandma, my two great aunts. Travel for them was very important. And my great aunt Marie used to have this map up in her house, and I used to go into it and just see it. And it was like this amazing map because, based in Chicago, she had drawn lines all around the world of where she wanted to go, where she had been. And it was just this amazing spoke of experiences. And I used to just love kind of cuddling up next to her and having her tell me these stories. And to this day, I still keep a picture of her in India on top of a black and white photo on an elephant going on an exploration. And to me, that was kind of like the moment I was like, when I grow up, I want to be like her. And so I constantly continue to try to check off the lists of countries that she's been to and find some new ones. So for me, my memory as a child was really just sitting with her, listening to those things. And then obviously also, seeing all the trinkets, right? The boxes that she brought back, the coins from the countries, the stamps, those things that inspired me to say, I need to go out and kind of find these things for myself.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Mario, please share with us.
Well, my family, they do travel a lot, and it was really nice to go with my dad because my dad have business in different areas. I'm from Costa Rica. And in that times, we needed to go to Guatemala, to Panama, to Nicaragua, and so on. And we're talking back in the 80s when travel by road was really tough in Central America. It was hot and everything, and I really enjoy going to different places, see different people, you know, stay in a little village or in a big town, wherever we go, and start trying to, my dad always wanted to try the local flavor. He will ask the people where the taxi driver, where the bus driver eats, because that's the best food that you can find. And that was one of the things that always captivated me, because really now when I start traveling for this business after 25 years at sea, that's the first thing I do. I want to go and taste the local places, because this is my memory from behind when I was a child. And you never go wrong with that. And I still have the flavor in my mouth, or trying, you know, one rice and beans in Nicaragua, and the same type of rice and beans, but maybe in Mexico, you know, when it's cooking a different way, one with coconut, not with chile, and that type of memory is really gonna stick in my life forever.
I love that. I love that, Mario. You had me at beans. Love it. No, thank you for sharing. I love it. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the destination experience, the welcome. So I'm going to ask the first question. Share from your experience, what do you think, from an experience point, what are the top 3 things that you would say that ports can do to enhance the experience? Arnie?
3 things that the ports can do to enhance the experience. I think, first of all, you need to align your communication. You need to make sure that everything that the entire communication plan for the destination, whether it is what's talked directly to the guests and the customers over big social media and platforms, what's actually conveyed to your local partners, so the community, the folks that actually deliver the destination, what's conveyed to your outside partners, the ones that are selling your destinations, whether it is your cruise companies or your travel agencies, all that needs to be aligned. There needs to be a strategy behind it, because especially in times like this, when we are trying to find out the best way to communicate all these protocols and steps and things that are normally not not part of that fun, exciting deliverable moment that the marketing strategy usually takes care of. So having an alignment of what is it that we need to communicate and what gets communicated how and where and at what time of that, at what part of that journey is one important thing. The second aspect, I think, is the human aspect. So ultimately, you can make all these plans, you can create all this incredible communication, but if your people are not 100% buying into that message or understand that message or believe in that message, whether it is the person that is cleaning and actually doing the sanitizing, or the person that is talking about those that will be cleaning and doing the sanitation, or the experience itself. I know I'm using kind of the COVID piece there because I think it's something that that is present right now and we're all trying to figure out. So that is key. Continue to invest on the human aspect. And then third, I would talk about hardware in general, and that is the spaces and the vehicles and the physical structures that will help to deliver that experience and that will empower the human aspect of it all to deliver an incredible experience. So when you are looking at your vehicles, or when you have the opportunity to perhaps design a new space in your port area or in your attraction, always take a step back and think of where is the destination going? What are the latest influences? How can I design this space? Who do I need to partner with to bring those expertise from a flow perspective, from an architecture perspective, to help really continue to tell the story of what you want, but also to point your destination and your port in the right direction of where experiences are going into the future. So those are 3 points that are, I think, very valuable at least for me.
Excellent contribution, Arnie. Thank you so much. Christine?
Top three things to enhance a destination. Other than what Arnie has said, I completely agree with all of those points. One thing we always want from our destinations is to create a memorable experience. There's a few of us out there who have worked on the ships before, and the worst thing that we ever find, and this is on a global scale, a guest coming back to the ship and asking us, why do we go there? Why do we go to this destination? So one of my top things is for the destination is to please try to create that memorable experience where guests are gonna remember this for a long time. It is their vacation. We have to try to remember that. And this is what we try to do across the ship and across our destinations, is to create those experiences for the guests. Another thing I would say, be genuine to the destination. Really look at your destination and be genuine and bring in that local flair and keep it, and don't divert from that, because that is the uniqueness of the destination. Another thing which probably wouldn't go down as well is try to avoid overcrowding. You know, there's a lot of destinations that we do go to, and there's 6, 8 ships in port, and that then also automatically removes from the memorable experience because you're just fighting the crowds a lot. If you take a look at the cruise lines patterns, they are looking for these more smaller, more unique destinations where they can go into and be the only ship in port, for example. And that is to enhance these experiences that we do give to the guests, you know. And that is one thing that we do get back from the guests when it is overcrowded in port. They're like, we wish we were only like 1 or 2 ships or 3 ships in port. But again, that is a hard one to put out there, but it does contribute to the overall experience.
Thank you so much, Christine. Great answer. Alex?
Yeah, I think obviously we've talked through a lot of great ones. I think for me, it's you know, thinking through that whole experience, kind of like Arnie hit at, but not just coming up with the communications and the marketing plan around it, but actually what are the steps to make that happen. And I think so many times when people do that, they don't think about the other side of who's going to be delivering it and how they're going to deliver it, right? So not making it hard on the local teams to deliver these things that you're promoting and going out with, making sure they're things that they can actually deliver on. And I love how Christine brought up about the fact that things need to be real and connected to the local location. I think, you know, travelers are looking for preferences, and I always kind of go towards like the cereal aisle, right? Remember what the cereal aisle used to be like, you know, 20 years ago, where it's like you had cornflakes and you had, you know, whatever other brand, right? There was like a fruit flavored one and a standard one. And now you go down the cereal aisle and it's like, this is so overwhelming. But it's coming out that way because people are like, I want to have this version with that, with this. And I think that's how travelers are as well. And so making sure that you do those types of things, creating experiences that your travelers, the new travelers, different generations, I mean, between all 4 of us, we come from very different brands. There's like things that, yes, there might be some overlay, but there's a lot of different experiences that our customers are looking for. So understand that that's out there, because one size does not fit all. But also, to Christine's point, we don't create things that are just a moment to create something because you think it might be good at your port, right? People are going to see through that, and eventually you're going to invest in money on things that aren't going to be utilized. So I think for me, that's kind of where my take is on it. It's, you know, travelers' preferences. It's making sure that the teams that are delivering have the tools and space to do that, and making sure that the whole journey, not just a marketing statement, but is something beyond that.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Mario?
Well, I think the points that you have all made is absolutely spot on. Our customers will never settle for the standard products anymore. You know, they're looking for the need of the how to do it. You know, will be the answer for all our products. Basically, one of the challenges I see that we could improve a lot, and it's mostly infrastructure of the places that we go. You know, for instance, we go to LA, it's very challenging to disembark 3,000-4,000 passengers there in terms of, you know, the immigrations and customs and how we're going to have that flow going. You know, that is things that we need to really work out with the local authorities to enhance that customer service experience. You know, perhaps it will be now easier that they have like the same systems like in the airports where we can swipe the passport for the US nationals, so the flow could be easier, and for the international travelers to be able to be separated in different groups and not so packed. So the experience is different at coming in and also at leaving, because that last experience will count. For that, obviously, involve a lot of authorities, involve infrastructure, involve ground operations, involve port agents, involve us. So how can we actually do it is a big mammoth, titanic task that we need to really achieve that goal, to deliver that experience to the guests. Now, one thing that we can do definitely is to start mapping, and I'm going back to Ernie, mapping the information before the guests actually start coming into the vessel. You know, delivering that information from what they can do to arrive at what time, from the pre-arrival location, parking, drop off of the luggage, how the test, in this case, most likely we're going to have to continue having tests for a while. The test location will be how the embarkation flow would go and who's going to help them to do that. It will be signal there, it will be ground operations, and how can we manage that flow, perhaps without actually going physically to a check-in area. Technology will actually play a huge role in all this. That's my take.
Thank you so much. Talking about technology, just going to flip it out there. Mario, do you want to talk a little bit, and maybe I'll throw this question out to Mario and Alex, and then I'll throw another question out to Arnie and Christine after. Talk about technology. What's going on the ships with technology to help, you know, the crew, help the guests? What are you guys doing anything different?
Well, we do have quite a few enhanced options for the guests. You know, the application will be downloaded before you actually come into the cruise, and that you will have there your pass, so you can check in and out from the gangway. You show your mobile phone with your activation card. The activation card will bring you right away. You say right away you have your credit card in the system. Everything is in one, so you don't have to have any touch points. So everything is prepared before you actually come on board, because we send you all the links necessary for you to be able to avoid any contact as much as possible. This is very dangerous too, because the human factor is extremely important in our business. You know, when it comes to customer services, no one can do it better than you or me, because we are humans, you know, and we have that sentiment. A machine will not replace that ever, but it will help us through the process of getting in there. Now, when it comes to using that applications, you know, that application will help you to do pretty much everything from ordering a drink to open your door, you know, and open your safe. So touch points are minimized to try to also give it that confidence to the guests that they are in an area that we actually investing in technology for their own good and to have the social distance. We need to balance that balance between how we do the technology and how we have the interaction with the guests is very delicate and is very, very thin. So that's when we need to just get back to the drawing board and say, okay, do the guests will prefer to have a personal interaction or continue with the application? It's something that I don't know yet. I'm more a people person. I like to talk to people. I like to be there. I like to talk to listen to them. I don't know personally me if I will be only used to use an application for all my holiday experience.
Awesome. Thanks, Mario. Alex, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I'll jump in on that one. I think, you know, obviously from Virgin Voyages, we have a great luxury of starting from scratch, right? I think a lot of my peers who I've worked with, a lot of you in different places, we kind of had systems that were set in place, and then you kind of have to tack onto those, adjust to change, and hope that the core system works from there. So one of the benefits that we have from our operation is we can start from scratch and say, what would we like it to be? And to Mario's point, you know, technology should not replace the person, but should enhance the experience so that the person can do other things, right? So that the person is free to connect. I think it's also about how we can use technology to not be intrusive, right? You know, in our world, we're using technologies to make sure that we can assist, you know, our housekeeping teams to be more efficient with their time, to make sure they can connect and engage when it's appropriate, to have key knowledge about the sailors in a way that's helpful, not, you know, big brotherish, right? That's something that we also have to balance. And I think also from the beginning, because of the way we've started out, a lot of our technology tools were in place or were being plussed up. So from the COVID world perspective, you know, we don't have a large jump to go to, because the fact that our core product was going to be very digitally enhanced, but not overdone where we lose those connectivity points. So I think, from our Sailor app, obviously being able to do our ship eats, as we call it, or delivery of food anywhere you want to have it, or shake for champagne. I know I love bubbles. And so I think for me, one of those things I'll be doing on the vessel is exactly, I was like, I think I've seen all of us on this call enjoy a glass of bubbles. But for us, it's one of those things where you're like, just grab that phone, shake it, and let that screen dissolve and press and have that, moist Shandong delivered wherever you'd like it. Those things, yeah, like those are the fun things, but then there's also the things like, we we're talking about before, where there's core things that can go behind the scenes to help make, the business more efficient, and allow us to then focus our personal time on what the sailors or customers need.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think I see some champagne there behind you, Alex.
Awesome. I love Perrier.
It's always within reach.
All right, let's talk about destination. Let's talk about tour operators. Any words of wisdom for tour operators? Let's throw this to Christine and then Arnie.
Well, actually, I would like to go on to that technology thing just first, because one of our brands, Regent, we did last year roll out a new technology for tours, and it's our smart guide system. And basically, we partnered with a team in Germany, and we have our own smart guide app on the phone, where guests, they bring their own phone. You don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need roaming or anything like that. It connects to the guide's box, and they tap on the app, and they connect to the guide's number of the box, and we have our own whisper system. So going back to technology, that is something that we did launch last year as well, and we are looking at it for our other brands in the COVID world as well, so we can keep the social distancing.
That is so cool.
It is. Going on to tour operators, I would say keep true to the destination. Again, never get complacent. There's many times, we can get in that tunnel of this works and this always works. And I think now is more prevalent time, given the situation we are with COVID, to think out of the box. And it's one thing I always say to everybody, even if it can be a small group, bring it to the forefront. Especially in this time, we have a time to shine and showcase everything that we have in our ports of call. I believe every single one of us has the same issue with pirate tour operators and things like this. So never get complacent, really. And during your own travels to other destinations, have a look at what they're doing and see if you can incorporate it into your destination. Just because this is the way things have always been done doesn't mean to say that we're not open to change or anything like that. So this is one thing that I instill in my team in the office as well, is always try to come up with new concepts. Last year we launched our Go Local program, and it hit off straight away. So it is definitely something that the consumer is looking for. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Christine. Arnie?
Great comments. One thing that I would like to add, which is basically agrees with what Christine just said, is challenge the status quo. This is the time that we as an industry are doing that right, left, and center. We're seeing, many of the cruise lines moving along from some of the older and less profitable, less efficient ships and focusing on the new builds that are coming. We're seeing our products evolve on board the ships. We are changing things. We are moving things. We're taking the opportunity to let technology drive more and remove some of those barriers, and let the interactions with the guests be less transactional and more personal, right? So it's about engaging with your guest, engaging with the customer, and taking that experience forward. And instead of having to do transactions, please sign this, please do that. This is where the guest does not forgive us, because they're like, don't tell me, I just flew on a Delta, American Airlines, Emirates, whatever plane to get here, and I did everything, and I changed my app, and I chose my food, and I changed my seat, and I upgraded. I did everything on my computer, and then I get to the ship, or I get to the destination, and the things are still so rudimental or archaic. So we've certainly as an industry, we've been challenged to look at that. So challenge the status quo, look at your operation and figure out how you can, what you can do to change. Is the processes that we have right now the right ones? Is the flow the right one? Is the guest to space ratio the right one? And so many of these new rules and processes that are coming in place will basically stay forever, even post-COVID, because we will find out an entire new way to deliver service. So certainly challenge the status quo is one for me. And then the other is find the opportunities on this incredible amount of service that we are adding on to the experience to deliver and to get points on. And what I mean by getting points is I am about to fly for the first time since March now on Saturday. I'm going to Mexico for 1 week on vacation. And I know because of the campaign that the airlines have done, that that plane will be the cleanest plane I've ever flown ever since I began flying, probably, right? So fingers crossed. So in that sense, I am really excited about looking at what that cleanliness looks like. But I thought that it was a great take on an airline when you are in a confined space, and many of us that traveled for a living before always thought about, you know, am I going to get sick when I'm in this 16-hour fly across the ocean? Because you always felt like, what does the germ situation looks like? And I think we've, as customers, learned so much about what happens within a plane, how the air is filtered and all that. And that is also happening right now with the cruise ship experience. So how do we, in a destination setting, figure out ways to deliver on that message as service, extra service points that basically tell the guest, we knew you were coming, we over-prepared, and we are ready to serve you and deliver an incredible experience. So the right timing, the right way to do that so that you can quickly address it, make them feel good, and then move on to actually just delivering the destination and creating that memory. So finding those opportunities is key. There's a saying that I saw in another presentation recently that I thought it was really exciting. You know, the smiles may be hidden, but the personality and the hospitality still needs to shine through. So you still need to find a way to be extremely engaging, extremely personable, even though your smile may be hidden behind a shield or a mask.
Yeah, if I can jump in on that too. I think,
yes.
for, you know, I think for me, it's also about how we invest our time and money, right? I think, you know, a lot of us all agree in that world. It's like for the tour operators, I know it's a hard time, and I would be, you know, remiss to not connect to that point that it's very hard for this whole industry, everyone in tourism. But I've been watching recently some hotels that maybe they thought, you know, we had our funding, and depending what people's plans are and scheduling, they've had their funding to do their refurbishment set aside, and they were going to do it in 2021. And they're stopping and looking and going, you know, we don't have anyone right now. So what do we need to do? And refurbishment doesn't have to be expensive. It could be that paint of coat, a coat of paint, excuse me. It could be, you know, doing that deep cleaning in a different way. It could be fixing up the beach property. It could be fixing a few of those panels or whatever it may be, right? So I think investing in your product right now, and I think also always investing in your people. I know, Claudine, for you, it's very important. I think that's what your business is connecting to, right? Going out and taking those places and locations and operators to that next level through the knowledge you have. So investing in your people. And I think one thing that always gets remiss is investing in the community, right? Because if the community isn't on board with the ships coming in, the vessels coming in and doing these things, then the operators are on an uphill battle the whole time. So showing the benefit of what we bring in, you know, and it's not just the financial one, it could be the you know, different things of how the community is growing, how we're creating new businesses, how we're pushing the schools to do certain things, how we're, you know, I know for us at Virgin, it's how we're bringing in, you know, more females into the industry, and everyone's connected to that, right? But how we're trying to do that, we're, you know, connecting to certain schools and making sure that outreach goes to that place. Those are types of things that tour operators can do that as well, how they look at their staffing, what they do. So I think for me, it's the investment is something that's on them, and it's not always money when we say investment.
I love it. Thanks, Alex. Mario, do you want to jump in too?
Absolutely. I think that what we do in this one to reveal tourism post COVID-19 is a cooperative responsibility. You have to go with the local tourist entities, with the tour operators, with the communities, and of course with our cruise companies. You know, we need to do by adapting new protocols and aligning them together, that there is no confusion between them. I think one of the challenges that we saw when we reopened earlier in July for companies like us is that we went to certain places, but the communities, they were not ready to welcome us. We were ready. We went there. We went to Norway. We went to Iceland. But the communities, they were not ready. So they could not really handle the new flow of passengers or new flow of crew members, because the crew is also a huge part of the tourism. And that's something that we also need to include into the equation. You know, sometimes some crews pay more money in a particular place than the particular in shopping and so on, that the particular guests that go to that destination. So when we went to Norway, for instance, they really they didn't want to receive the guests. They said, no foreigners here. And I experienced that with my own eyes, and I say, why we did not align our protocols with them? Why we did not really establish a communication with the local authorities saying, okay, we're gonna come here, this is what we're doing, what about you? What can we do to help you out to receive this amount of guests? So indeed, there has to be a protocols aligned with no confusion, to be able to provide clear information and no uncertainty at all, you know, to provide the service that the guest wants in a safe way.
Great, thank you. Talking about that, do you think destinations, like the strategy part of communicating to the communities about cruise coming back, maybe some destinations want the cruise ships to come back because that's their source of income, but some destinations think it might not be the big part of their income in the destination, and they might be scared. The community may be scared to receive cruises coming in. What do you guys think about that? Anybody?
Well, I think the destination, they do want our business, definitely. You know, there are some countries out there that they really depends of the cruise industry. The job offers that we go, and I'm gonna put my country, Costa Rica, you know, the amount of money that a cruise ship left there, in not only with the local tour operators, but we're talking about the individuals that really take half a van and they put people inside and take you around Puerto Limón or Puerto Caldera, or to one of the rainforests. Individual people, they actually sustain families, with that particular money. So I think they do want us back. There will be certain locations that, for instance, they not depend so much like in a place like in Costa Rica for this type of tourism. But indeed, there is a good money there that goes from stevedores, from the docking operations, from transportation, from food, that when you add it up, is a lot of thousands of people that will be out of job if we don't go there, or being out of job because we haven't been.
I think that, go ahead, Christine.
Sorry, I think as well, yes, whilst there is many communities and ports around the world out there that a lot of their economy does rely on cruise vessels and on cruise visits, I think it's only humanly natural that many people will have some reservations about bringing a cruise ship in. And I think the resolve to that is education. We need to start to step up and educate these communities to what happens on the ships. And this is something that hasn't necessarily been spoken of over the last few months. And unfortunately, the perception for cruise ships hasn't been that great. But what we're seeing in our everyday lives right now in restaurants, in the Disney parks, in hotels is sanitization, hand sanitizer, wash your hands. We all know that cruise ships for the last 10 years have been offering hand sanitizer to everybody in every outlet on the ship. And especially those cruise ships that do come into US ports, they do their deep cleaning of the cruise ships. I mean, I believe a cruise ship is one of the cleanest places, having worked on board for almost 15 years. I see it firsthand, that cleaning aspect of the ships. So what everybody else is doing right now, we've been doing for years. And I think that education and getting that positive message out to the communities is key to help us gain their trust and showing them that we are putting safety before anything. And it's not just the safety of the ship, it's not just the safety of the crew, it's the safety of our guests, our crew, our ground staff who are working with our passengers on these tours, as well as our local communities. It is in our best interest to make sure that these communities survive as well and are taken care of in the utmost safest conditions.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. That's exactly what my point was going to be around. Is like the connection that our industry has with the whole tourism industry has, you know, from airlines to hotels to the cruise lines, is based on how well the community does and how well the community is ready to receive everyone, like Mario hit on. And I think that for us, it's really about how we can be that the olive branch and say, would you want to understand what we're doing? Do you need help understanding what our standards have been? Because these standards are now what we're seeing in the leading hotel chains, the leading, you know, amusement and entertainment parks around the world. And I think we're also going to be held to a standard that is higher than anyone else as well. So I think to really share those things and connect everyone to that, I think it's great. And I think, you know, Christine, some of the work that you do about, you know, getting our industry together to try to understand what that standard should be is also great. And I think that once we get to a place, you know, to connect and share, these are some of the standards that we're looking to have. I think that'll be something that's really interesting for us to do.
I love it. Thank you so much, everyone. Arnie, do you want to add anything?
No, I think perhaps the one thing I wanted to add is I feel that we are on the right aligning on the right direction right now. The more, especially when we talk about the health sale panel that both Norwegian Cruise Line and the Royal Caribbean Group put together, assembled to really to get us answers and protocols and steps that are 100% focused on science, right? We need to use science-based methodology and information to educate ourselves and the public together with communities and the public at large to really drive the change. And I think CLIA or the CDC, I should say, removing the no sale order and putting this conditional order, us that were living on a day-to-day know that in essence, this changed very little for us immediately, but it opened a door, right? And it opened a door to a path. And I'm excited to see where we go with this next, because once we can prove that we can, you know, on a structure that we already operate that has already so many processes in place that we can certainly just adapt them and make the necessary modifications together with testing and all that's coming along, that we should be able to deliver an incredible and by far the safest experience anyone will have at a vacation anywhere. I'm sure we can all agree to that.
Woo, woo.
Yeah. And I think also to jump into, sorry, just one thing that also came to my mind is just watching the consumer sentiment. It's gone up like 7 points in the cruise industry in just the last month, because of the fact that we've gone out, we've started to share some of these things, people are starting to read them. And so I think these trends will continue, which would then allow the communities to also have those same feelings. And I think, you know, talking about the destination and the, you know, the tour operators or the teams on the ground, they can help share that information. If they need it, they should reach out to people like us who are partners, who are connected, to really give them the facts, right? Because as Arnie said, science is what we should be using to drive, you know, what our results are.
Great, thank you so much. Such knowledge here. Thank you all. I'm gonna ask you one more question. So this was called the destination welcome, but we can't forget the goodbyes, right? So what is the value in a last impression for destinations and for the cruise guests? Anyone can go first.
Normally you tell us or you fire the question at one of us to start. So that's what we're waiting on.
The good kids.
All right, Christine, you go first. Christine.
Okay. Why is it always me to go first?
Forget it. No. You're done. You're done. We'll start with Alex.
It's
Perfect.
Fine. It's fine. For me, a lasting impression should always be the guest saying that they want to come back. If that is anything to go by, then you know that you've succeeded in delivering your message and showcasing your destination, that the guest wants more. And this is when I leave a destination, I love that feeling. If I go to a destination, go, nah, okay, I've been there, seen it, done it, then, you know, for me, it hasn't fulfilled everything that I was looking for. If when I'm leaving, I cannot wait to get back there, I'm like, oh my God, I want to bring my family back here and I want to do this and I want to do that, then for me, that's what the last impression should be. Short and sweet. There you go. Alex, your turn.
Perfect.
Thanks, Christine.
No, I think I'm right on that same wavelength. And I think that's the thing, right? It's anytime we've done something, the last impression, you know, that you give to someone could be the one that they walk away with, they keep. And I think for me, even what we do, there's certain ports and places I've traveled as on my own. And I'm like, I would never, ever want to bring a vessel here because of the experiences that I've had, right? Or there's other places where I'm like, I need to figure out how we can make this work because it's going to be a bus, a train, a plane to get here, but it's going to be worth it because the experience I've had here and the way I'm walking away from it is that. So I think, you know, knowing that you know, a lot of people focus on what is that welcome image, what does that the entrance to our port look like, but what does that last impression, you know, look like? And for a lot of ports, it's the security thing, right? Security happens there, and then you're walking on some sort of like random pier, and you're like, okay, this is my last thing. And so if security has to be the last thing, how are they trained? How are they going to say goodbye to me? How are they saying thank you for coming to visit my home, my town? What am I using in my own native language to say goodbye to? Whatever that may be, those little things for something that has to happen, a security check could be improved so that that last impression is a really good one.
Love it. Arnie, Mario? Arnie, you go next.
Yes, I love that. I love that because, you know, and those that work for Disney can relate. We always talked at Disney about the kiss goodnight, right? That very last impression, whether and at Disney, usually not always, that's a big wow extravaganza, right? It's the final fireworks show of the night. It's all those things, but they also talk about this collection of small moments that equal to that sentiment of wanting to go back. You know, the conversation was always, you buy the ticket because you want to do that one big ride, right? Let's call it Space Mountain, or you want to see the castle. But what brings you back is the beauty of the landscaping, the cleanliness of the place, the friendliness of the people, the smell of popcorn as you enter or as you pass by a certain location, or that collection of small details and those little moments. You know, used to say, when you get in the end of the day, if you had lots of little, wow, that was really nice. Wow, that was really cute. I didn't expect that. Those things all play a part. And when you're talking about the farewell, you can think of the services, right? So in the world of a cruise ship day experience, there's a lot of things that I may need or I may want right at that last moment as I'm leaving. If it's too hot, is there a place I can cool down, or is there refreshments, or is there a service of a refreshment that I can give at the end? What do the restrooms look like? Are they tired and there's no paper already because it's at the end of the day? So how can my last restroom experience at the destination or at the port can be a stellar one? Because believe it or not, many destinations get rated negatively purely by the condition of the restrooms and the facilities, right? We're all human, we all go. So we need to make sure to find a way to deliver that. Or I love what Alex said about the security. By all means, who is that last interaction? Who is that last human touch that from a janitor or a security, how do they become an ambassador? How are they really your departure officer? And what is it that they can add? And then, is there an opportunity to do anything entertainment-wise? Is it just the music on the pier? Is it a folkloric show? Is it a little ceremony of farewell? You know, as simple as the people of the port coming to wave goodbye. So it doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be overly produced, but it needs to be authentic and it needs to come from the heart, because ultimately what the people want to feel is you prepared, you care, and you cared all the way to that very last moment. So never underestimate the small, simple details.
I love it.
Sorry, just one thing that just came to my head, which was such a good one. It was such a cost-effective one. And I see them all smiling because they're like, Alex, stop talking. But I think for me, it was just, I think a lot of us have I know either been to Japan or vessels go to Japan. But one of the times I was flying from Tokyo back to Chicago, where I live, or where I did live at the time. and I looked up my window, and I just happened to be looking at the right time. And then the ground crew that were taking out the plane stopped, put their the yellow cone things, whatever, away, and just bowed and watched the plane go away and continually waved. And I was like, is anyone else looking out this window? And it wasn't a super choreographed giant fireworks show, but for those of us who are on that side of the plane, got to watch them do that. To me, it was a great sign of respect that I am taking this airline, that I have spent my money here, and that I'm saying goodbye to Japan. And it was such a little thing, but I went away. And again, the first time I saw that was, almost 20 years ago. And I'm like, that is so cool. And it doesn't cost anything. So to me, those are the little things. Sorry, Mario.
Thanks for sharing, Alex. That's it. Like, those are the little moments. Mario, what do you want to add?
It's difficult to add with all the things that you say, because it's exactly what it is. We need to live and deliver that service by moments. To create a deliberate customer experience, for me, it's essential that we take the outside-in approach. What I mean by that? I mean that we need to look at the experience as we see it for the very first time with the eyes of the guests. Being able to see how they feel, what are their emotions, and be able to understand that emotions, to be delivering that wow service, that unique service that only come if you have passion. Remember, we can pay the biggest salaries, we can have an amazing place, an amazing ship, an amazing venue, but if you don't have people that really want to deliver that passion, that love for what we do as a hospitality professional, nothing will happen. You're gonna end up only with the best venue in town. And this is one of the key elements that we need to really start going from the very front lines. And we need to demonstrate that to our teams, that we need to live by passion. We need to go there and really dedicate who we are, honestly, and plain, how we're gonna deliver the service. And that service has to be done with a smile that is sincere, that is honest, that is knowledgeable. And if I don't know and I cannot resolve your problem, I'm sorry, I don't know that answer, but let me go and find out for you and make it happen. If we promise something, it has to be delivered. And that has to go both ways, not only to our guests, but also to our employees. Because if we do it to them, they will get into the faction that say, my leader, is actually leading by example and is delivering to me, is actually doing something to me. And we cannot forget that the front lines are the really ones that deliver that wow factor all the way until the end. So yes, living by moments from the beginning to the end, that experience at the end has to be just going a big boom. This is what we did. And I will need to come back, and I want to bring my friends back, because I want to show them what you guys do, and I want to show them how good you do it, because I cannot explain it, because I'm so overwhelmed with the experience that I had in that venue, in that ship, in that location, that if I bring you there, you're gonna be blown out of your mind. And I think that's the important part.
Boom. You've heard it here. Boom. I love it.
I just want to add something, given that Arnaldo brought up Disney, and this is another memory that I had. And it goes to the cruise lines as well, and not only to the destinations, of living up to that expectation or exceeding that expectation. And when Arnaldo brought up about how they do the sleep good night and everything like this, I remember being in port on one of our ships with my son, who was, I believe, 6 or 7 at the time, and Disney arriving into port and playing its whole fanfare of everything. And of course, my son is out on the balcony going, "Mommy, Mickey boat, I want to be on Mickey boat." I'm like, "No, this is Mommy boat, you're on Mommy boat now." So those are the expectations as well. We have them even with our cruise lines as well as in our destination. He's overcome that now that we have our racetracks, no more Mickey boats. So we've lived up to his expectations.
I love it. Great. Thank you so much, guys, for taking part in this. This has been lots of fun. We're just going to end with one last thing. And the question is, can you share with us your favorite quote? And we'll start with Arnie.
I do not have a favorite quote, but this is one of my favorite quotes, and certainly something I live by is, you can do anything you put your mind to it. I 100% believe in the power of the mind, and whatever is in your mind and whatever is resonating in your mind is the energy, and it's where your energy is going towards. So if you want a team or a group of people to deliver your destination, to deliver your attraction, your experience at 100%, you really need to invest in amazing training. You need to invest in amazing leaders that can lead your team, that can motivate, that can keep everyone engaged, excited, that know what you're all about, that know what the story of your experience is all about, and that ultimately thinks of themselves at a much higher level than their actual job that they're doing. Everyone at any destination is 100% an ambassador to that country or to that destination. Whether you're going to Cozumel, Costa Maya, or you're going to Cancun, or you're going to Progreso, or you're going to Cabo San Lucas or Puerto Vallarta, the guests will tell you they've been to Mexico. I'm going on a cruise to Mexico. You need to figure out a way as that person interacting with the guests to deliver on that promise that may have not been yours. That may have been a promise from brochures, from movies I have watched when I was a kid, from memories that are 100% personal, mine, and expectations I have about what will Mexico be like. So make sure that those people have it fresh in their mind, and they have it in their mind about how much of a weight and how much of a responsibility it is to be representing your country, your destination, and ultimately making a difference in someone's vacation. So you can do anything you put your mind to it.
I love it, Arnie. I think Arnie just gave us a small TED Talk right there, but let's keep going. Coming out 2021. Alex?
Sure. I was just thinking about what the World Travel and Tourism Council just came out with. And to me, their quote is, travel is not just life-changing, it is world-changing too. And I think in this time period with everything that's going on, it's not only about just the customer who's going on the journey, but it's also about the destinations. And I think that with us returning to our businesses soon, we will be able to go back to offering those world-changing things to them as well.
Love it. Mario?
I didn't have any quotes. Well, what I think is that uniqueness is the special destination. When you actually arrive to a place and you receive that unique treatment and they treat you like an individual, not like a part of the bunch, is such a great thing, just to hear simple thing like your name, and say the good morning, Mario, how are you doing today? And you're in a hotel that is your first time that you arrived there and say, wow, it made me feel unique. So uniqueness is definitely one of the main things.
Thank you, Mario. And Christine?
Well, I've got a couple. I've got my least favorite, and then I've got my good favorite. I always do that, so sorry to do that. My least favorite is we've always done it that way. And this is something I have faced in many of my time over the years of working shoreside and venturing to different destinations. And it's not only, I believe, a negative, it is also one of the frustrating. So I would like to see that change and create a positive quote of look for the opportunity and change. There's a very good quote actually by Nicole Reed, especially in our current environment. She has a very good quote that says, sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly on the path to the best things that will ever happen to us. So with that, I think there's a lot of opportunity in things like that. And even though our industry, the entire world is going through something bad right now, we've got to try and turn it around and take the goodness out of what is happening, or try to come back positive and with the goodness out of what is happening. We've seen what can happen in the bad situations and how really tough it can get. So take that and move forward with full speed ahead. No pun intended.
Very nice. Very nice.
Love it. Thank you so much. And thanks for taking part. Take care, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you all later.
Thank you. Nice to see you all.
So awesome that you took part today in Cruise Convos. We can't wait to have you back, and I really hope you enjoyed the Lemoneight experience. I'm going to leave you with 3 final thoughts. Number 1, go check out my amazing friend, Rodman. He is one of the best suppliers to the cruise lines and cruise destinations across the globe. Number 2, I hope to see you at the International Cruise Summit taking place December 1st and 2nd, a hybrid event so we can join from anywhere in the world. Number 3, go check out my friend Pietro's podcast. I was just featured and it was a lot of fun. So on behalf of Claudine, myself, my company, Lemoneight, thank you for coming to Cruise Convos. Keep shining bright and remember, you are the zest.